That I would want to contest that after hearing that level of confidence coming out of her. I mean, to be fair, though, there are a lot of scary teams in here. So in general, I think for these first couple games, we actually might see them feel each other out and not contest until they see where everybody's landing and how it's going to play.
Yeah, well, we will see as we are into game number 1 on Kings Canyon.
Thank you, Waypunk. And it is time to get into game number 1. I've got to say quickly, it's going to be a lot of fun today. A lot of fun to cast alongside. It's been a long time since we've had the opportunity to do so. And I'm just keeping my eye on the kill feed early on at the top right, just to see if there's any contesting. Looks like everyone's safe. Everyone's comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I think they need to decide, unless everyone in the Discord was just letting everybody know where they're going to land and seeing if anybody was going to risk it in the very first game and hot drop them. But I did not anticipate that being a thing. I think everybody wants to see what the other squads are going to do. There are so many talented players, whether they're the content creators or on the competitive side of the Apex community, that taking that risk early on might not be in their best interest, only because it's not just about hot dropping in a normal round of Apex anymore on set. Now they have to take into consideration that
10-2.
Even if they make it endgame, it might not go so well for them, depending on how the flares and that final zone work out.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing the map overhead to where the circle will be ending, if we're going to see any flares kicking off and when they're going to kick off and when that's going to start to impact the game. But for now, it's just a little bit of, the loot run, isn't it? This is where players are going to get themselves looted up, find those batteries, find those shields, and make themselves comfortable as we jump over to watch one of our other teams here, as we got Min's Kittens chilling. Teammates Prizzy, an amazing player, actually had a lot of success in TwitchRivals recently as well. A very mechanically talented player. Also, one of those characters who's very calm, and we're actually going to see a little bit of engagement go down here, and we're going to see Girl, unfortunately, a co-commentator of mine on the Apex Legends Global Series, get taken down in midair. A little bit of what I would call a unceremonious fall to the ground.
Oh, there's one right here.
It's definitely less than ideal as far as the start goes, but
actually, he's knocked.
All that matters is that they're going to get themselves some early on points. If they can just manage to get her banner, they might be able to bring it back. However, we do see a Prizzy get another kill for himself as well. And this is what we were hoping for. We talked about this before the broadcast started on set. We were hoping to see some of these squads come in and be a little bit more aggressive, have fun with this specific, game mode, because I think it definitely warrants it.
Pretty much. For the most part.
Yeah, I'd like to see them have fun with it, but also knowing that there's a pro pretty much on every single team, or a pro that's been, or someone who's been compared. You can't turn that switch off. You can't. I don't care what competition it is. I don't know if it's who can run to the corner shop quickest. You know what I mean? They're always going to be wanting to win. It's impossible for them to do, but we're going to have to see if they can have some fun with it. Of course, they will be doing that as these games do go on. But jumping across now to watch another one of our lineups, and you've got Shiny from Complexity as well. Now, Complexity, if you don't know them, one of the best teams in the Apex Legends Global Series. They won the playoffs last time that was around, which is the major competition that everyone builds up to. So Complexity, Shiny, one of those players who had a lot of success in the pro scene, alongside, of course, Tifa Jesse you've got as well. And then you've got His and Hers Live TV. It's obviously going to be one of them playing, because it's unfair to have two of them playing on the same team.
Yeah, we had noticed that too earlier. It's going to actually be Andrew playing from that duo in the squad right now. To see them getting caught in a little bit of an engagement. Tifa, I thought she was going to be able to make it out of that, but she isn't. Unfortunately, they did come up against the squad that I know you were excited to talk about on set. This is definitely something that could be a little bit scary for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can see one player is going to be leaving the lobby. They're already out there, so it doesn't matter too much. Shiny will be able to reconnect, and it's going to be Andrew, like you mentioned. Although, we said maybe they're not playing together, but they're both streaming together. I want to see who's in control. Maybe one's on the mouse, one's on the keyboard. We'll have to see how it plays out. But getting out of that is a huge, huge move there for Andrew from His and Hers Live TV. And again, if you don't watch these streamers and these are new names to you, go and check out those two really fun content creators. And now we're going to see, Lauren, I know you're excited. I can hear it. I can hear it. Even though I can't see you, I can hear it in your voice. You're just seeing some Revenant action.
This is what I wanted. I was hoping that we'd see a couple of these squads that were maybe either going to be bringing in Octane or Revenant so that they could really push up against all these other teams. We see the Revenant all being used in this scenario. The totems are down, and I think it's one of the smartest things you could do when you're someone like Timmy. You're able to just push people so much more aggressively than I think what they were initially planning for squads to do, and it could be a huge payoff for them in the long run.
I would say if you have a huge first game in any competition in Apex Legends, regardless of the format, it gives you so much confidence in a team. And I love the fact, if there was going to be a team who ran Revenant, Octane, and Horizon, it was going to be this team. The personalities on it, especially, we know that Timmy is the biggest troll, probably not only in the Twitch community, but possibly on planet Earth. I mean, I've seen games where he's saying to his teammates, I have no batteries, and he has around 15 or 16 in his inventory and just hoarding them. So it's great to see them be aggressive, take the initiative here. And look at that, an easy squad wipe for them as well, points on the board.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be huge points for them early on. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they took out Tanner Slays and co, I believe, if I saw the kill feed right. So that was a...
I need help bad.
Was it? I might have been. And that was definitely a team that I wanted to look out for too. So it's going to be interesting to see how a lot of these massive squads with these huge personalities and players on them are able to bounce back after this first game.
Well, sorry to Team Latin Cat. I did obviously pick you as one of the teams who I was going to keep my eye on, but that's what I do. That's what I do best. Any time that I have to give any kind of prediction or any kind of, shout out to anyone, this is what happens to them. Zach Mazer gave you a huge shout out. Unfortunately for him, he won the Apex Legends Global Series playoffs very recently as he hits a beautiful headshot on the player peeking over. But he also forgot how to do the interviews, right? He might have cursed a few times. He got carried away with himself. It might be another opportunity to do that, Zach, because your team is out of game level.
Listen, it's just sometimes the excitement is too much to handle, and you forget where you are and what you're doing, especially in that type of situation where you win. I mean, he's hyped. So I feel like it's a little bit allowed. As we jump on board here now with we've got Frostbolt, Candy, and Fun. I mean, what blows my mind is that I know we've talked about how many former pros or current competitive players we see in this lobby, but there are so many content creators. A lot of the captains on these squads are just as strong as some of those players. Like, we have phenomenal content creators that are in this event today.
100%, and we're going to have an opportunity to look at Lulu, Madness, and Bruce Green, who's going to be making their way across. Now, this is another team that I was keeping my eye on a little bit because I feel like Madness and Lulu, they've got a good bit of synergy there. Lulu's on the caustic, though. That's not what I want to see, Lulu. I want to see you getting aggressive. I don't like seeing caustic. But obviously, one of the most strong characters, you're going to be playing caustic, especially if you can get towards those end circles, get that ult in. You're going to be doing a lot of damage and picking up a lot of points. But we're actually going to see where that circle's fairly southern central circle, I would say. So a lot of opportunities for teams to rotate into that pretty comfortably. But I haven't seen any of the flares in effect yet, although we can see one just to the left moving in now. That's actually going to be the edge of zone. Excuse me, I've misspoken. And they're making their way around the edge, just looking to hunt any teams who are making a slow rotation.
Yeah, I know chat was excited to see some action out of Lulu, so this should be good for them. And caustic treatment is one of those newer areas that we had heard the devs talking about earlier on at the start of the show. So I'm excited to see how a lot of these teams and these players decide to utilize the area as we see Madness taking some shots on a player going up the balloon. He is able to crack and get some decent damage in there, and they're playing this in the zone. I mean, obviously it's early enough right now that they don't have to worry about it too much, but this is the type of thing they're going to have to get used to with the current game mode that we're in.
Well, you can start worrying right now because poor old Bruce Green's been taken down by Prizzy and he's been eliminated from the game. They have to get his banner back or just get out of there. And now they're getting a little bit deep into the zone. So Lulu on the caustic is going to take to the skies to the redeploy and get back inside that circle, while maybe Madness is going to look on the Wraith to re-pick up that banner. But it looks like, unfortunately for Bruce Green, he's going to be left just to survey all of the new area of Kings Canyon, which is, of course, going to be caustic treatment. He's going to get a good view of it. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, listen, sometimes, and this is just the case in general, you gotta go for a little bit of the information. They should be able to get his banner. I think Madness is letting Lulu know that he's thinking about going for it here, or they won't be able to get it. That's going to be really unfortunate for Bruce, but between Lulu and Madness, it's still game one. As if they can maybe make it out of this area and be able to make it farther into mid to late game, they should be able to pick a couple other teams off. But Madness is taking a lot of damage from behind him. I couldn't even see who that was.
I think he's been shot by about 4 or 5 different people there, and unfortunately for Madness, it means that he's going to have to eat dirt for a few minutes. He might be able to get rezzed, who knows, but another fight is going on at the moment as Team Jowo, Snipe Down and Imperial How alongside him, 2 phenomenal sidearms, you had to say. He's going to be taking a little bit of damage and having to escape and doing a pretty good job of it as well, but looking at this team comp, this is another aggressive team composition. You've got Snipe Down on Wraith, you've got How on Horizon, and of course you've got Bloodhound's going to be hitting those scans for Jowo as well to give them all the information that they need. And it's going to be Lulu inside of the building with the traps down. And poor old Lulu. Well, it's How versus Lulu. This story almost writes itself.
Man, you just had to call it out, and then you see Hal is able.
Sorry, Lily.
Hal just becomes the kill leader off of that. That's just like extra salt in the wound there on set.
It is. How doesn't lose, excuse me, many 1v1s, and I just get the feeling when it's Lulu, he's got a little bit more, enticement to go in and take that 1v1 to see if he can get the job done. But you can see that they're doing pretty good at the moment. Like you mentioned, How currently the kill leader, one of the best players, and arguably the biggest content creator that we have in Apex Legends as well, doing what he does best. As we jump over to watch the most aggressive team in game number 1 as far as composition is concerned. That is going to be Nice Wig, Timmy, and Calamity TV. And at the moment, they're pretty safe in zone. You can see they're just set up at the moment, looking pretty comfortable. Don't have to do too much here around labs. They're just going to be looking for anyone rotating in, looking to pick them off because they've already got their kills on the board. And even though there's still 15 squads remaining, they're going to be aiming for that top 10 because that is when that multiplier starts to kick in.
That would have been a bad fight.
Yeah, and that was something that you had mentioned earlier on. That's kind of like the bare minimum that you can really shoot for, right? Because if you're not finishing within that grouping, then the multipliers aren't doing a whole lot, especially if you don't have a very high kill game, which is why I like this format so much, because it is promoting just that little bit extra burst of aggression from these teams, knowing that they need to not only secure those kills, but then make it long enough to actually have them mean something more than just, their 1 or 2 kills here and there. So I'm loving seeing some of these teams going for it earlier on that I think we would typically see in a classic competitive Apex game.
Well, those shots were absolutely beautiful there. Unfortunately, Joe was the person on the receiving end of it. And I think this is How and Snipe Down actually below now, who are having to take those shots to the back. There's going to be a Gibby ult going down to maybe try and give a bit of protection or force them away, but the triple take is hitting hard. It doesn't get those kills done, but 2 kills in the back here for sure 4. So again, a lot of teams at the moment seem to be picking up kills. And the fact that we've only seen 5 teams eliminated here with ring number 3 closing gets to show that, we thought there might be a little bit of fun in game number 1, a little bit of aggression. Nah, forget that. These players are competitive as you can get.
The longer they stay alive, though, the harder they're making this on themselves when we get to those final moments. Like I said, depending on how little or how much hard cover they have available, combined with wherever those flares land, it's going to be really, really difficult if we have 10 teams up towards the end. Like we were kind of hypothesizing a little bit earlier that there's no possible way that once we're in the very final ring, or even the second to last, like there can't be more than 5 squads. But I mean, it'll probably be the first game, and everyone here will end up trying to do that and prove me wrong, and we'll see exactly how that plays out. I think it's going to be chaotic and very, very entertaining.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how it does play out. Joe Woes took the leap of faith back into Kings Canyon, managed to make it down without taking any damage. And I'm not going to lie, landing on a P20 with hammer points isn't the worst thing to land on and find in a bin, even though it doesn't have any armor to work with. But maybe you can find one on a death box, maybe Snipe Down and How can do the damage. You can see that Snipe Down did actually have a Kraber in his hands as well. We can see what teams and what players have been eliminated as well. On the top right-hand side of your screen isn't Hers Live TV, who we did see early on. Andrew, being the last player alive for his team, is still in this one. He's still alive.
At this point, it's just, is he going to be able to third-party anybody that comes near him and maybe secure just a little bit more of a multiplier for whatever kills they were able to score? He can maybe secure with what time they have left, because with trying to go up against some of the players in this lobby on his own, that's definitely going to be difficult. So it's just it's the rat strat from here on out as we see Snipe Down, Albrelelli, these names popping up in the kill feed right now. We saw Snipe Down with the Kraber earlier. That is just dangerous in his hands.
Well, Joe's managed to find himself some loot, which is always good when you get back into the game. There's no better feeling than finally putting a little bit of armor on your back and making yourself feel all warm and cozy once again here on Kings Canyon. But they found a little bit of an area to play here, just to the west, of Cage, around that tunnel area, as we jump back on board with another team who is safe for when that next ring does close. But the interesting thing for me here is, where do these flares start impacting things? This is where we're getting down to a lot of teams being involved, a small amount of room to play. I want to see how those flares pop in and how players work around them.
I completely agree. Not only that, but I want to see how useful the heat shields become for those players, because obviously we had talked about them. They were mentioned, in the dev video. Not only do they give you a little dome similar to what you see when what comes out of Gibby to protect yourself from the damage of the ring, but you also, for however long it stays up, it will speed up the use of your healing items by 50%. It revives 25% faster if you can, not have it break by the ring damage before that happens. But I feel like it could just add yet another layer of calamity to what's going to happen in this end zone.
The element of surprise is certainly going to be there for some teams and for more than others, I'm sure, as we see the death totem going to be used here. And here comes the push once more from Nice Week, Timmy, and Calamity TV. They've been sitting inside this tunnel at Labs, have been waiting for their moment to pounce, and now they're going to try and get involved in a fight. You can see the Horizon Q is going to take them up as well. They're going to be landing on a team. They're looking, I think, for maybe a third-party opportunity. Nice shots from Nice Week. Will get the kill. Timmy picks up one as well, and they're still in death protection as well. This has been the cleanest of clean wipes. Finally, Timmy and Nice Week will be sent back, but that's what you want to use it for, this composition. Getting involved in fights, getting aggressive, and the opportunity to get knocks and pick up kills. Timmy now has 3 to his name, and they're looking good in game 1.
And as soon as they were done with that engagement, they backed off, gave themselves time to heal, because they knew that there could be potential for other players up there. You see some of those tracers coming out by the Gibby shield above them. I mean, that was the perfect way to use the totem, and that is what I'm hoping they continue to do throughout the rest of today, as we see Mittens and crew in an engagement as Mittens does go down. This is kind of a rough spot for them right now.
Yeah, it could be a little bit rough, but they found themselves a little bit of a safe haven here. So Prizzy's going to be able to get her back up on her feet. And unfortunately, it looks like he might have to change his plan of action here and look to turn this one around. The Spitfire has a big mag with the purple mag on, and when that thing starts chopping, it just goes rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. You get annihilated, and you've just seen a perfect example of it there.
That was the most realistic impersonation of the Spitfire that I think that I have ever heard in my life.
Thank you. Been working on that one.
I need to give credit where credit's due.
I'll take that one, especially from you, Lauren. I know that it's hard for you to give me credit, so I'm going to take that one. I'm going to run with it. As we see, all of a sudden, 11 squads are remaining. So we've seen around 4 or 5 teams eliminated in the last few minutes. It doesn't surprise me too much, because we did have a few teams who had, not the full complement of players, only 1 or 2 players still alive, but one team, who were looking very good momentarily there. We're inside the building in Hydra Dam, where it's looking like this zone will end up. And now we're going to have another team. You've got Sweet, Baby Nikki, and Cauliflower, who is sitting down, looking pretty comfortable themselves. Sweet, one of the best IGLs that we have in the Apex Legends scene. If you wonder what an IGL is, of course, is in-game leader. He knows everything about commanding the troops, and he does it in such a cool and calm way as well. If you listen to this man speak, never raises his voice, always very calm, composed, cool. You can hear him now. He just sounds great.
Popping back. When you get the skill?
He's got a lot of experience in BR, and he's always just kind of had that same level of composure throughout his entire career as a pro player. I mean, I used to work with him, so I know him very well. And as we jumped on with him, we actually did see Sweet take down average Aiden, if I'm not mistaken. So he is making sure his squad is getting some kills, keeping them in a decent position, making sure no one's going to be rotating in from behind or anything like that. This is a team that I was really excited to see play. I was watching Cauliflower stream yesterday, and she was saying that she was nervous for today, but I mean, the girl can shoot. So when you combine that with someone who's able to give such clear direction like Sweet, and Nikki is just savage in her own right, I'm hoping that they can do big things here as a squad.
Yeah, but they're already doing big things. They're into the top 7. They've got kills to go alongside. You've got Sweet going down with the portal and picking up armors and bringing all the loot that you could possibly imagine. As we jump on board with Autumn now, from her point of view, to see what she can do. Unfortunately, it looks like Noko's going to be reconnecting as quickly as possible. He looks like he might have lagged out momentarily, but Eureka is going to be there, and they're in a safe position as they can hold this ground for now. It looks like they will be safe for a few more seconds, but they will actually be forced to move as well. So this is a big moment in the game for them.
Wow. We are able to check in with Team Autumn, one of the teams that we were talking about at the beginning of the show, and we were able to interview with Autumn. She had said that they were trying to go a little bit more aggressive and just kind of see what happens, go with the flow of the rest of the lobby. We do see them getting in an engagement right now. Eureka is... Okay, can we talk about him for a second, Onset?
Oh my!
Because he's insane.
Yeah, I mean, Eureka is one of these players that I like to call, in the best terms of the word, a freak, right? He's a mechanical freak. He does crazy, crazy stuff. He's playing on the Gibby. He's making it look like, you know, a Gibby's got all the movement in the world. When as you're watching the point of view of me playing Gibby, it looks like it's just a lumbering fool. But Eureka is one of these players who can pull off crazy, crazy things. You've just seen it there as the players came behind him. They took a little bit of damage from that zone, but he got the job done there. Didn't miss any bullets whatsoever. And that's with Noko, unfortunately, you know, disconnected from the game as well. So now he's a solo player looking to pull off some madness, as we see Timmy trying to pull off some madness as well. You saw his name just hovering above, and it looks like, unfortunately, this zone is going to be pretty difficult for Timmy and Co to get to unless they can redeploy maybe through labs, etc. Eureka is now looking to see if he can pick up a kill, and unfortunately, Cauliflower's going to go down, and that makes this a 2v1 fight now.
See, and I was just about to say that this might be an unfortunate situation for Eureka, considering that he was underneath Sweet, Nikki, and a Cauliflower, but he just instantly popped up and melted. And he is not afraid of this engagement whatsoever. He takes out the massive and is just completely demolishing, going for these kill points as much as possible, knowing how important they are in this point setup. There's no way! There's no way!
I want to break down how big brain this is from Eureka in just a second when this fight is over, because there's still one player alive, which I believe is Sweet. Eureka saying, you know what, at this point, this is just... It's actually Timmy who gets taken down, but Eureka bubbled. He then slid out of the bubble when the player pushed him to pick up the armor swap, which was down. Eureka's the genius. I called him a freak, and that is why. He can't believe it. I can't believe it.